Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. Coach Ashley is not here today, so I'm subbing in as host. As you're joining, please put in where you're joining from in the chat. We'd love to see where everyone is joining from around the world. We've got literally people from all over the place. It's really kind of fun to see where you're joining us. And today, instead of our usual training from Ashley or I, we've got Tiffany Armstrong back. If you've been with us for a while, you probably remember her from a couple of trainings she's given in the last, I don't know, it's been a year or two or something. It's been a little bit. She's held trainings here before, so we're excited to have her back. She'll tell you more about herself, obviously, as we're getting into it, but she's been a valued member of our community for several years. She's an international business coach specializing in turning fragmented coaching businesses into well-oiled machines. And today she's going to be teaching you five essential business systems to get your business running on autopilot, which lets you focus on your coaching at the highest level rather than being bogged down by manual tasks in your business. And she's going to be providing some actionable steps to implement right away. So get your notepad or digital notepad or whatever you want to do. So with that, I'll turn it over to. Oh, before I do that, actually, if you have any questions for Tiffany along the way, or anything like, the office hours sessions are really for any sort of, whether it's tech support or questions or strategy, whatever, or the topic at hand, which is usually what gets the most questions. Click the Q&A button on the bottom of your Zoom window there and enter in your questions. Sometimes in chat gets a little chatty and we'll lose the questions. But if you push Q&A, it goes into a list and we can look at that, and then Tiffany can answer your questions if it's about the training she's talking about today, or if it's another technical question or something like that, I'll be hanging out here in the background answering those if you have that. So anyway, with that, I'll hand it over to Tiffany.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I plan on this being a beautiful, streamlined training for you today. But definitely get out your pens and papers, or if you're digital note takers, go ahead and do that, because you're going to walk away with some actionable steps today, which is beautiful. And I do see people here all the way from East Coast, West Coast. And it's a beautiful thing that we're all here together as one big family. So let's jump into the masterclass. Obviously, you know what this is about, but I'm just going to say it anyway. But we are going over the 5 essential business systems for coaches. And one of the things we talk about all the time is patchwork systems. They cause more problems than they solve. And you're capable of having a coaching business that runs 90% on autopilot. So that frees you up to be able to coach, because you became a coach in order to love on your clients and support people in that way. And you didn't become a coach to learn all the business systems and have to do all the manual things. So I'm here to help you automate everything today. So we are going to go through all 5 of those systems. I'll talk you through the agenda in just a minute. But first of all, we know this, but businesses are not meant to run on survival mode. It's not a badge of honor. I think I used to look at this as a badge of honor, because I'd be like, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Look how special I am. And that is not a good thing to do. We can have businesses that we can breathe and spend time with our family and take care of our health. And we don't need to be doing all these manual tasks that can very, very easily be automated. So there is a better way. I'm just going to introduce myself just a little bit. Thank you, Greg, for that amazing introduction, by the way. And I am an international business coach and consultant. And I'm also a mindset coach, because sometimes we get in our own head and inadvertently self-sabotage our businesses by accident. And so I help people get out of their own ways as well. I also have a business partner named Jess. I just want to throw that out there right away, because between the 5 systems, we're both very good at all systems, but we both specialize in specific ones. And that's why we partnered up. So we can bring all 5 systems to you and just help, take care of you all the way from start to finish. So getting into the agenda, I'm just going to go over 2 things with you. Number 1, we're getting into the 5 systems. So your business can run as a well-oiled machine. There does not need to be all these manual tasks. And there's a lot of nurturing with our clients and things that we can do. I'm going to show you so much today. But when I say so much, I'm not going to overwhelm. Okay, I keep things very organized. I cut the fluff, and we're just going to get right to it. And then secondly, I just want to teach you why something like this would happen. And I'm just going to get into this scenario really quickly. I just wanted to highlight this specifically, and you're going to see this kind of strewn throughout the entire training today. So Jess and I we had 2 coaches come to us. Coach 1, when she first came to us, she had 277,000 followers. And I don't love the word followers. I like audience better, but that's what they call it. So 277,000 followers, but guess how much money she was making every year with that big of an audience? $24,000 a year only. There is something broken in that system, right? And then we had a coach come to us, Coach 2, and she had I think about 450 people in her audience when she came to us. We really quickly just got that up to 544 just with some things we did. It was a very quick turnaround to do that. But really quickly, she started making $146,000 a year. She was part-time, and since working with us, she has doubled that. So what is the difference here? Why coach one having that huge of an audience is only making that much money versus coach two with a very small audience is really monetizing it properly. So I'm going to teach that to you. This is actually part of the first system I'm going to teach you, but I wanted to highlight this because it is so important. Well, let's just jump right in here. So Jess and I chose to educate deeply on this topic because we went through the trenches ourselves. We have been through it and it has been painful. So we got it all dialed in for ourselves. And this is one of the things we share with our private clients and now you. So for years, we tried to figure this out ourselves and we finally did. So just a little quick tidbit, and I'm going to keep this very short, but just so you know kind of where I've been and why we do what we do and how this affects you is I have hired my own high-end coaches. So has Jess, and none of them specialized in all 5 systems. I paid $50,000 for a coach, $50,000, and that person only specialized in 2 out of the 5 systems. They kind of put forth that they could help me in all aspects, but really they only were really good at 2. And the other 3, they just kind of like gave me little tidbits. And I was like, this is just not working for me. I spent $25,000 on a coach, 50,000, and then 10,000 and less. My 2 least favorite coaches I ever worked with were the 50,000 and the 25,000. I was so dramatically disappointed about it because I needed help with my entire business, not just little pieces of it, right? So with that coach, what I had done up front before anything, I invested $150,000 into my business, and I was spending $5,000 to $10,000 every single month on Facebook ads to drive people to my offer. Well, guess what? I put all that money out there without having any clue whether people even wanted what I had to offer, right? So basically what we did was we created everything, and then we said, does anybody like it? And nobody liked it because of the way we were messaging it, so the way we were putting out there. I did end up turning that business around tremendously, but it was a rough path to get there. And the other piece, and this is very important for you, is my messaging, what I was putting out there in all aspects, marketing, social media, email, all that kind of stuff, but also what was coming out of my mouth, because that's what I was taught to do. It just wasn't landing for people. So I spent all like 200 grand on all of that stuff just to have 0 people take action on it. So I moved on from that coach. I figured it out myself and I really turned that business around. But believe me, it was a painful thing. And now we teach people not to do that. Please don't do that. Don't invest a whole bunch of money up front before you improve your offer. We need to understand that what we have to offer and the way we're wording our offer is actually going to land for people. So we're going to actually address that today. Okay. So you absolutely will know that your offer is something that they want and that they're willing to pay for. That is so important. And that's exactly what I was alluding to there. So with that, the 5 systems I'm about to teach you, they are an end-to-end system. A lot of times what we do is we go take a course, and that course is about this one system. And then this course is about this one system. And then you watch some YouTube videos, read blogs, all this stuff, and you kind of try to piecemeal and duct tape your business together. What we teach, what Jess and I teach, is all 5 systems, and they work together on autopilot. It's so smooth, and it shouldn't be a lot of manual tasks. It really should be a very smooth business for you, so you can actually focus on clients. That's all you need to do. Like that's all we want to have you do. So, and the systems like I'm talking about here, they do the heavy lifting for you. So that's the whole point of it. So anything we repeat, anything we do, it can be automated. So I just want to say this, and I'm just going to highlight this again. The successful coaches out there, they are systems thinkers. This is like a mind shift we need to have sometimes. They're more concerned with the entire business and how it all works rather than the individual parts. So I'm about to teach you the individual parts that make up the full system. All righty. But first of all, time to get off that hamster wheel. We do not need to be running ourselves into the ground, having burnout. We deserve to have smooth running businesses where we get to focus on our self-care and enjoy our businesses and have extra time to do extra things for our clients because we love to, right? Helps everybody to feel good in the whole process. So let's get into the 5 systems. One thing you'll know about me is I cut the fluff, I get right to it. So we are just going to jump in. Everything I'm about to teach you is right in order in a nice linear fashion for you. So system 1, the point of this is to attract your ideal client to you like a magnet. We've heard that a gazillion times. If you've ever done like that dialing in your niche and all that kind of stuff, but we do take a little bit of a different angle to it. This system, what we call your impactful messaging system. And I just want to teach you some things. So what do we mean by messaging? What does that even mean? First of all, you have to know what drives your ideal clients. We have to understand, and I'm talking not just the superficial things, what on the deepest level drives your actual ideal clients, not the clients that just are willing to pay money, but then they suck the life out of you. Those are not our ideal clients. And what clients like do you want to work with who would be an easy yes? And they are the right person for you as well. It's not just about selling somebody into our offer. It is about making sure that they're right for us as well. Okay. So it goes both ways. Most entrepreneurs only address the superficial needs and pains. And I'm going to actually walk you through an exercise in just a couple minutes on exactly how to start digging into those deeper levels. Okay. You have to look way deeper and discover the real reason people buy from you. What is the underneath reason people buy from you? A lot of times what we're doing is marketing at very superficial levels, and it's just not hitting the mark. So we're going to teach you to go deep with this. When you nail your messaging, they will feel like you've been walking around in their heads. Jess and I have had so many clients walk up to us or virtually meet us, however it is, because we work with people all over the world, but they'll say, oh my gosh, I saw that blog or I saw that post and it's like you're in my head, and that's what we want to happen for you in your business as well. You want people to think like, gosh, that you are in my head. How did you know I was feeling that on a deep level? Because it's not something they verbalize. You're actually meeting them about their thoughts in their heads versus what they're saying out loud. Okay. And this is how you really get to know what really drives them. When you dial in your messaging, you don't need a large social media audience. I already proved that to you earlier on, right? You don't need a large social media following. Doesn't that make you want to take a big breath and relax your shoulders? Okay. Also, email list doesn't need to be huge, and you don't need to drive tons of people to your sales page. Wouldn't it be nice instead of driving 100 people and doing all the work to drive 100 people over to your sales page, your opt-in page, home page, whatever you want to call it, 100 people and having only 10 people buy? Wouldn't it be nice to drive 15 people there? That's a lot less work and have 10 people buy, right? It's the same amount of money in your pocket, same amount of clients you get to support, but a lot less work on the back end, right? So what we want to do is be able to dial in our messaging so everything you put out there, every single thing converts at a very, very high level. That's what we specialize in. So coming back to this really quickly, precise messaging is why Coach 2 is making so much more money than Coach 1, even with the discrepancy between the two audience sizes. So Coach 1 has that 277,000 followers. Why was she not making money? And when she came to us, it was very clear her messaging was not dialed in. She did not attract the right audience, and her messaging was not landing for the people that were the right audience, but they just weren't getting it. So really her business looked great on paper, but it did not look good in her bank account, and that's a problem. And this is a lot of coaches out there. They look good on paper, and to us, we're like, wow, they must be killing it. And then all of a sudden, guess what we do? We start imitating them because we think they're successful, and a lot of times it's not the case. And so Coach 2, we dialed her in so quickly, and she was just like, we got her messaging so dialed in that she started making this much money, $146,000 the first year that we started this. And then she has, like, I think I might have mentioned earlier, she's doubled that already, and she's part-time. So she's not having to post very often. She's not this poor Coach 1. That's a lot of comments she had to respond to. She's sitting at the dinner table with her husband as well, just having to, go and comment and answer. And it's just a lot to manage. We don't need that headache. And so can we build, like with the proper messaging, can we build huge audiences? Absolutely. Definitely so. I had an audience of 50,000 people, and some of my stuff went viral because the messaging was dialed in. But it took a while for me to understand about messaging back then with that business. So it's possible, and we don't need huge audiences. So I hope that's another thing that can kind of help relax your shoulders a little bit, because we don't need to be an influencer out there. Okay, it doesn't need to be that level. Also about this, and this is kind of piggybacking on what I just said, but please, and I'm literally begging you, please don't copy what other coaches are doing. Okay, we can use them for market research. We can go look at their stuff, watch, see what is landing for their audiences. But it's not about copying what another coach does. It's really about getting inside of us and who are we? What is our personality like? What makes my offer different? And leading with that. Okay, we don't want to just go copy people. It doesn't work. And I'm just going to tell you, and I'm going to tell it to you straight, because I've worked with hundreds of coaches around the world at this point, and I've seen this so much, that copying another coach, you're going to end up with crickets. You're going to end up wondering, why is my marketing not working? Why are people not responding? Why are people not buying? a lot of times it's because we're copying another coach and not really digging into who we are. Okay. We've seen other people do master classes so many times and they go into like presentation mode and da 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 da. And I'm like, I tried that for a while and it didn't land because that's not my personality. I'm a lot more warm and fuzzy than that. And I realized I just needed to pull it from my own brain and my personality. Same thing for you. Okay. So I wanted to take you through this exercise. It's called the benefit of the benefit. It's one of my favorite exercises to do when you're first starting to understand how to go deeper in your marketing and your copywriting and your messaging. So there's 3 levels. Most entrepreneurs function. And when I say function, they market at a level 1 or 2, and they have no idea why people are not buying from them. What we want to do, where people actually pull out their credit card and they're like, take me on as your client, please. That is when you are marketing from a level 3 or 4. There's a whole different feel to that. And so I'm just going to walk you through an example here from one of my businesses. So I own 4 businesses. That's the power of having systems in place. I have the time and space to be able to run 4 successful businesses, which feels very good to do. And one of those businesses I've had for 25 years, and that is a self-defense business. I have online self-defense courses. So I'm just going to walk you through that using that business as an example. So what are you selling as a coach? What are you selling? So what I would say, like on a social media post is, and this is what I did for quite a long time, and I wondered why nobody was doing anything. What are you selling? I could say something like, hey, I can teach you self-defense. Okay. So my question to you is, when I say that to you, if you were to read a caption and the whole gist of it was, I can teach you self-defense, does that like have you whipping out your credit card and running to buy one of my online courses? No, there's no emotional pull there. I'm not meeting you in your head. I'm meeting maybe people say out loud, yeah, I want to learn self-defense, but there's way deeper thoughts going on inside somebody's head. And I'm not speaking to those thoughts. We have to speak to the internal dialogue of people, not just the general superficial things that come out of their mouths. Okay. So I can teach you self-defense. Let's go down onto level 2. So what is the benefit of that? What is the benefit of learning self-defense? So I could say in my copywriting something like, you know what? I can teach you to learn self-defense through my online courses so that if you ever faced a dangerous situation, you'd know what to do about it, right? So that's a little bit deeper, but again, are you whipping out your credit card and going and buying my courses? Absolutely not. It is just like superficial, not meeting people where they're at in here, okay? So let's go down to a little bit of a deeper level. So level 3, what is the benefit of that benefit? So we just always look at the previous one and say, what's the benefit of that? Okay, now what's the benefit of that? That's kind of this whole exercise. So what is the benefit of me teaching you how about this? What's the benefit of you learning self-defense so you can get out of a dangerous situation? Now I'm going to play into is not even the best phrase there, but now I'm going to speak to parents here, just as an example. Okay. So I'm going to what do we understand about parents? They really care about their kids. That's how it should be, right? And that's the reality. So what is the benefit of a mom or a dad learning self-defense so they can get out of a dangerous situation? Now we start getting into, so you make it home to your kiddos every day because your kids need their parent. Your kids need your parents, and you have to be there for them. If you weren't there, they would struggle, right? So that is starting to speak to the mama heart or the daddy heart. Okay. And then going down into level 4, even on a deeper level, this would be, okay, what is the benefit of that? So they make it home every day, right? All that kind of stuff. And the parent actually prioritizing safety. So level 4 could be something like, let me just think about that. It could be something like if you prioritize safety and self-defense as a parent, your kids are always watching. And if mom and dad prioritize safety, well, then so is your child. So that you never get that phone call that your child did face a dangerous situation and didn't know what to do about it, right? That's a whole different level. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to speak for moms out there in the moment, but moms, one thing we know about moms is we tend to put ourselves aside for the safety of our children. We really focus on the safety of our children rather than ourselves. So just me understanding my ideal client at the deepest level, I understand that about them. So my copywriting spoke to that. When I would do just normal level 1 and 2 marketing, nothing converted. And that was part of my zeros. That's what that coach taught me to do. Level 3 and 4, all of a sudden, my courses started to fly off the shelves. So it's just a whole different ballgame. Okay. So thinking about taking this from my business to your business, what do you sell? Like what on a superficial level are you selling as a coach? What are you supporting? What transformation are you selling? Right. And then what's the benefit of that transformation? And what's the benefit of that? Okay. So I do encourage you to do this exercise. It's very, very revealing. For those of you artificial intelligence people out there, you could do this with your own brain first and then go plug it into AI, and it might give you some good copywriting from that. Okay. So, and if you're not into AI, don't worry about it. That you do not have to use that at all. We do want to rely on our own brains as well. So once you dial in your messaging, you want to apply it everywhere. Everywhere. This is from your mouth, all the kind of stuff like in-person conversations down here, social media posts, your other marketing paths. I'm going to pause there for a second. Not everybody loves social media. I was one of those people who I did build that audience of 50,000 people, but I had to sit there through dinner with my husband and be distracted by answering hundreds and hundreds of comments. And it just didn't feel good for me and my personality. It may not seem like it, but I'm actually an introvert. So I didn't want to constantly be recording videos and being out there all the time because it did wear me out. I love presenting, but I get to choose when and where I present, right? That's just my personality type. It's so amazing to be able to build a business around your personality type, how your brain works, and all that good stuff. So just so you know, there's social media for marketing, but there are other marketing paths out there that we teach. Also, you apply your messaging to your sales pages, opt-in pages, email sequences, your onboarding process, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Speaking from stage, if you happen to be a speaker, you can see right here, I'm speaking, right? Any of you can use the speaking strategy to get your offer out there as well. And then in-person conversations, as I already mentioned. So with that, we're moving into system 2. So this is one of the puzzle pieces that helps you stand out in the sea of coaches. Like, what makes you different than all the other coaches? So are you a life coach, health coach, financial coach, business coach? What has you standing out in the sea of other coaches? Okay. Also, what system 2 does is it helps your prospect, your potential client, to understand exactly how you can help them. People like a blueprint. People like a roadmap instead of just saying, yeah, I'm just a life coach and I help you with any struggles you have. That's way too general. You're just going to fall into the sea of all the other life coaches out there. So we call this one your streamlined coaching framework system, and I'm going to teach you about it. So this is a way that you systematize the way you structure your coaching experience. And I'm going to teach you a little bit more about this, but when we can systematize that, it is so amazing in your copywriting. It's going to be very, very clear to your future client. I'm going to call them future clients because they're going to say yes to you. It's going to be very clear how you can help them, okay, instead of just talking generally. So you create a unique coaching framework. We call it a framework. Some people would call that a coaching methodology, like what makes your method different kind of thing. So you create your unique coaching framework to attract your ideal clients in a way that helps you stand out in the crowd. That's the whole point of system 2. All right. So people want to know how your approach is different. Like if they're looking at 15 life coaches or health coaches, what makes you different than all of them? This is what this is about. So this framework is how you communicate the value of your unique coaching methodology. Next, actually, before I move on there, what we want to do is, let's say you have this framework. Okay, so you name the framework. There's a branded name to the framework. I'm going to teach you about that in just a second, like naming conventions. But then what you want to do is, let's just say you're a health coach. I'm just throwing that out as an example. Let's say you're a health coach and you take people through 3 phases typically. Like if you can break everything from start to finish with a client, if you can kind of think how many steps that is, maybe it's 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. We don't really recommend going above 4, or I'm sorry, 5, but let's just say it's 3 steps. You kind of chunk like, okay, phase 1, we're going to take you through this part. Phase 2, I'm going to take you through this part. And phase 3, we're going to take you through this part. So you basically chunk your process. And then we come to this, you give each step a branded name, but it's not just any branded name that's like cutesy in your brain. It's a branded name that resonates with the messaging that you created in system 1 and speaks directly to your client's deepest needs. All right. So I'm going to show you ours in just a second because we always lift the curtain for you. And so we're going to show you the framework because you can see then how we did that and the market research that went behind it. So this is our personal framework. We are very, very big on just showing you things. We don't keep everything close to the cup and try to hide things. We're just going to reveal things to you. So you'll see that a couple times throughout this masterclass. So what we call our framework, or what we say from our messaging after a lot of research, the key to a successful coaching business comes down to 5 easy to implement systems working together on autopilot. Basically, it's a well-oiled machine. Okay. So here is our entire framework, and you're going to see it in action here. So the overall framework name here is the 5 essential business systems. It's not some cutesy name that it's like this elusive, what does that even mean kind of thing. It is very, very straightforward because we would want anybody out there and coaches out there to understand what this is all about, right? We don't want to make it all hard to understand. Then what we did was we broke it down into 5 chunks. This 5 chunks is based on all the things that we've done with our private clients to get their systems in place. And we really thought, okay, what are all those phases? Like, how did we do that? How did we get these private clients so successful? And it's like, really, this is what we do. We break it down into these chunks, but also based on the market research we did, we listened to what coaches were struggling with. And so I'm going to walk you through this. So I'm giving you a little sneak peek at the next three systems here in a second, but your impactful messaging system, all like we heard from so many coaches all the time, my messaging is just not landing. Like I put social media stuff out there and it's just crickets and nothing is working and I just don't understand what's going on. Well, they just don't have their messaging dialed in, right? Or I'm just falling into the sea of other coaches. I don't know how to stand out in the crowd. This is why we teach this, right? And then down here, my Zoom controls in the way, but down here is your client acquisition system. That is your sales funnel, like where it actually is the automated part of your business that's running on an autopilot in the background. That is so important to have. We had so many people say, I'm doing so many tasks manually, I can't keep up, I'm overwhelmed. So we created that. The marketing system, like marketing is so important. And it's important to market based on your personality. Well, that's something we teach because a lot of people, a lot of coaches out there were imitating other coaches and it just didn't feel right to them and it wasn't working. And then the last thing here is your optimized client experience system. This is after somebody purchases with you, what is that experience like? What's automated? How can you build credibility throughout the process? How do you have that client feeling so good about your coaching because you're on it? You're not letting anything slip through the cracks. This is what we teach here. Okay. So these were the phases in a sense that we realized that coaches needed the most. So just pausing, TV timeout, taking it off of me here and putting it into your own business. How can you chunk down what you do with your clients? How can you actually chunk it into sections or phases, if you will? And then how can you name them? But the naming has to come from what they're saying and the deeper needs and pains points that they're struggling with, rather than just cutesy names that you get from AI. Okay. So then moving on to system three, this is your automated funnel. This is what AttractWell is all about. You're right in the right spot. And I'm going to get even a little deeper into like how you can use that. But this is your automated funnel. This is like the heavy lifting is done here with your sales funnel. So this is your simple client acquisition system. This is how in your marketing sends people into your funnel. And a lot of people think a funnel is just three things. It's the marketing piece, and then it's the opt-in and sales pages, and then it's emails. There's so much more to it than that. And I'm gonna break it down for you in just a little bit. Okay. So with that, a sales funnel, right? This whole process, it's just a nice, simple, automated way to take prospects from just getting to know you, maybe your cold or warm audience, all the way to actually purchasing from you. All right. And then to having the most amazing client experience with you as their coach. So they just love the process with you, to giving you automated referrals and testimonials. It's all set up in a system. Okay. And so we don't have to manually do any of this. This is just a really nice process where, like I said, the systems do the heavy lifting for you. So having an automated sales funnel, which is what AttractWell is not only bringing in the leads on autopilot, but it also guides them to your offer. So guess what? You're freed up to do. Coach. That's why you became a coach in the first place. You didn't become a coach to learn business skills. You wanted to be a coach so you can help people. And I love that. I love that you're here in the coaching world because people need support. And I just love this. I just love this industry so much. So this is your selling system that does the work for you. Okay. Anything, I'm going to just say this real quick. Anything you repeat from one client to the next can be automated. I mean, it's just amazing how much of this can be automated. And guess what? For your clients, it still feels very personalized, very specific to them. So I'm not talking about, putting the coaching sessions on autopilot. That is where you are one-on-one with them. But when you have everything else automated, you get to show up on your coaching calls so present, so open, and so ready to support them because you're not being bogged down with all the business yuck in the background. So with that, and I'm not going to read all this to you, but just in general, how does a sales funnel work? You create a highly converting marketing strategy, which I'm about to show you in phase 4, that drives people to your sales pages and opt-in pages, whatever it is that you're driving them to. Okay. And then the rest is automated email sequences, payment processing, scheduling. If you are a coach and you are still doing the whole, hey, does next Tuesday at 2 work? Oh, no, that doesn't. Okay, does next Thursday at 1 work? Oh, no, shoot, somebody grabbed that time slot. So now the whole going back and forth, we need to automate your scheduling, okay? Also, your onboarding process, the nurturing and of your current clients, a lot of that can be actually automated and they will love it. And I'm going to teach you about that. And then also your automated offboarding process. Not everybody has ever heard of offboarding, and I'm going to actually teach you about that in phase 5, okay, because it is extremely important. So what you do is you use the messaging that you created in system 1, okay, and that deep dialed in messaging, and you apply it to everything in your whole sales funnel. And this is what compels them to actually take action and purchase your coaching. Whether you're doing coaching packages like the one-on-one coaching, some of you will be coaching one-to-many where you're doing group coaching. This applies to any of that. Okay. So this is exactly what AttractWell is for. This is what I mentioned. I'm just going to tell you this out loud. I have tested 22 different platforms. I counted them over the years, 22 different platforms. And I used to pay $1,200 a month in all of the different, like I had my online course over here, and ClickFunnels was my sales engine, and the email system was somewhere else, and ActiveCampaign. And it was just so much. I was paying $1,200, and then I had to connect it all through Zapier, and it was a tech nightmare. So I just want you, I'm just validating you in the fact that AttractWell is the most beautiful place to be. I bring all of my private clients here, and all my businesses run out of AttractWell too. So I just want you to know the system 3 is AttractWell. Okay. So just so you know, you're already in the right spot for it. It's just a matter of dialing it in and getting the right pieces set up for you. So let's move on to system 4. So this is how you drive your prospect to your automated selling system. How do you get eyes on it? Otherwise, your sales funnel sits over here and it does nothing unless you know how to get eyes on it, right? It is our job to then cast the net out and pull people to our sales funnel. And so this is what we call your captivating marketing system. And this is like, how do we get people over to us? So this is so important. I'm just going to pause for a second and really sit on this. This is so important. Choosing a marketing strategy that is based on you, your personality, and your brand voice is so important. I've already alluded to the fact that social media is not my favorite place to be, and it's just because of my personality being a little bit more introverted. But there are other ways you can market. And out of my 4 businesses, 3 of them, I hardly even touched social media. And my friends were like, how are you so successful in those businesses? And I'm like, because I figured out the marketing paths that work for me. So I'm not poo-pooing social media by any means. We really do have that dialed in for you. I'm going to teach it to you, but just so you understand, it is so important for you to not imitate what other coaches are doing, because maybe that's not your personality type or even how your brain works. Okay. So just give yourself permission to market a little bit differently than what you see the influencers doing. We don't need to model that stuff. So many times business owners try to, and this is what I keep saying, imitate influencers or other coaches. We just can't be doing that, okay? Because it doesn't work for us. Take a big breath and relax those shoulders, because you do not need to overcomplicate your marketing machine. It can be very, very, very simple. Simple converts over complex. I will never be the person to throw out that you need to go on LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. I have this huge email process. There's just sometimes just so much, and it's like, and blogging and all the things. It's just too much. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and just like, is anything sticking? I would much rather you just simplify. First of all, start with your personality and how your brain works, and choose the right paths for you. Maybe go test. You can test several ones just to see and be like, oh, these 2 are really standing out as the winners. Then go deep with those. Okay. So we don't need to overcomplicate it. So when you create your messaging that speaks to your ideal client and not the masses, right? Not the masses. We really want to have your ideal client as your North Star, and everything that comes out of your mouth or on paper or behind the keyboard is all about your ideal client. You don't have to worry about everybody else because they're not your ideal client. When you do that and have that dialed in, you will experience more income from a smaller audience because it's the right audience. You're going to attract the right people. I don't care if you have 20 people in your coaching world on your Facebook, for example, or Instagram. I don't care if it's just 20 people, but if it's 20 of the right people, do you know how much money that ends up being in your pocket? We don't have to overcomplicate it, okay? And do we want to expand more than 20 people? Of course we do, but at least you get the point. So I'm going to share something else with you just in a little bit about marketing that's just going to help your shoulders relax even more. And I do see there's a question, and we'll come to that at the end, okay? So dialed in messaging equals money from marketing. Just really think about that. When you have your messaging dialed in, and you're going to see system 1 with the messaging is going to be a piece of every single piece of all the other systems, all 4 of the other systems, okay? And it is also extremely important to understand your marketing analytics and numbers, at least on a basic level. This is a really big deal. And even if you're not this over analytical person who's pulling numbers into spreadsheets, I mean, we don't need to get that crazy. But if you don't know how to read the scoreboard on some level with your marketing strategy, how do you know what's working, right? So I'm just going to give you a tip, just an example of this, is go back and scroll through your last 20 posts that you did if you're marketing on social media. go through your last post or your emails and look at the open rates kind of thing. But let's say social media, go back and look at your last 20 posts and just see like which ones bombed, which ones did okay, and which ones really stood out and you thought, wow, these really did good. Do more of the good stuff. Okay, that's just a really simple version of what I'm talking about. Okay. And then adjust your marketing strategy based on what your metrics told you. All right. So just very nice and clear. So open rates. So in AttractWell, if you go into campaigns and you look at the campaign, before you click into that campaign on the editor, you can click stats and you're going to be able to see open rates. And that's one of the things I love about AttractWell is when you see the open rate, if they're not opening it, it's a subject line issue. Go address your subject line. We teach you a whole bunch of that stuff. Okay. So then moving on to system 5 here, building a simplified, effective process for you and your client. It is so important that after somebody purchases, we're really giving them a good experience. So if this is your optimized client experience system, I'm just going to give you a little whisper here and say, this can actually turn into a lot of extra dollars in your pocket if you have this dialed in. So much of the success of a business falls on how smoothly you onboard, nurture, and offboard your clients after they purchase. So many times we're not, as coaches, we're not thinking about this side of things. So we can't let the system fall through the cracks. It is so important. There's a lot of money sitting on the table here if you don't have this system dialed in. So automating this entire system will be an absolute game changer for you, but not only you, also your client, because they're going to feel so good about your process with them. People like a process and the success of your business. So onboarding here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say one thing about this. I have worked with a lot of different types of coaches because I always love to be coached. I've worked with my own business coaches many times, but also life coaches, health coaches, spiritual coaches, all the stuff. So what I realized there was a lot of times I loved the coach. I loved what they were doing for me. They were very skilled at their coaching. However, they didn't have the logistics dialed in, like the technical side, or they were just letting a lot of stuff slip through the cracks. And it ended up putting a bad taste in my mouth on some level because it kind of lowered my little level of trust with them a little bit because they were an amazing life coach, for example. But then they would say, hey, I'm going to get this to you by tomorrow. And then they just wouldn't. And I was like, where's my stuff? And then, oh, I'm going to get you my calendar link so you can schedule your next session. And then it would take a week to get that. And all of those little logistical things started to have me a little bit trust them a little less as my life coach. And that's not what we want. And then I'm thinking, I want to refer people over to this person, but I don't want them to have the same frustration, all my friends and family that I would send over to them. So I referred a lot less to those people because they didn't have their systems in place. And they needed was to have these 5 systems in place. And all of a sudden I'd be like sending them referrals like crazy. Greg knows I'm a referral person because when I believe in something and something really works for me, I'm a talker about it. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to break this next part into 3 sections: onboarding, and then your client sessions and nurturing your clients, and then offboarding. Okay, so it's the beginning, the during, and then the after. So with onboarding, when you automate your onboarding process, it not only saves you time, of course, but it reinforces the trust and credibility of your consistency. That's what I was just talking about. So we make sure things don't slip through the cracks because it is going to leave a bad taste in your client's mouths, and that's not good, right? And it also stresses us out. And if we're doing things last minute and trying to catch up and all the things, then we show up on our client call, they're going to pick up on our frazzled energy, and that doesn't go well. They're not going to refer people to you. They're not going to feel good about their investment. Okay, so onboarding, definitely need to sort that out and get that automated. Then thinking about client sessions and nurturing. Client sessions, that is when you are face-to-face, whether it's one-to-many. So if you're doing group coaching, it's you showing up. For the one-on-one client calls, that's when you're showing up on Zoom or however you do it and really nurturing them. This is when you are meant to shine and be so present, show up early, get them exactly what you keep your promises is basically what I'm saying there. It's so important. But the nurturing part can be automated within AttractWell. AttractWell's set up beautifully for that. And what's cool about that is you can automate the nurturing right within AttractWell and have your clients between sessions feeling like, wow, she or he, whoever you are, is really like taking care of me. So anything you repeat to multiple people can be automated. All right. So if there's something that you have kind of a resounding, like I say this all the time, that can be nurtured and automated, and even just check-ins and things like that. Okay. So creating a systemized approach to client sessions and set up an automated nurturing sequence. All right. And then offboarding. This is such an interesting thing. Offboarding, the more professional your offboarding system is, the better your testimonials and the referral machine works because it leads to more clients and there's obviously more money in your pocket then. Offboarding is a really big piece. And I'm going to tell you, as far like the hundreds of coaches I've worked with, I think I have seen 2 or 3 of those coaches actually have an offboarding system set up. It's so important. I'm going to show you why. All right. So this is also the automated process that moves your current clients into the next phase of their transformation. If I pause there for a second, is that something that you're doing? A lot of times, like I'm just going to use examples here, but let's just say it's a financial coach and they take their client through 8 sessions. Like the client up front purchased 8 sessions with them, okay, to go through the process. Well, once the 8 sessions are up, are you like, okay, bye, thanks, you know what I mean? And are you just ending there? Or is there a next phase that you can talk them through? And so I'm just going to show you this. Just because they finish a package with you does not mean that they won't need you ever again. They might have questions in the future or another like if you're a life coach, maybe another circumstance pops up that's like, I'm stuck again. I took a couple back steps and I'm feeling not good about this, right? So you can guide them to purchase either another coaching package or shift them to a maintenance phase. So let's take a peek at what that looks like. So let's say they finish the 8 sessions. You could do maybe a couple things. I'm just giving some examples, but a couple ideas would be maybe you have another smaller coaching package that takes them into more advanced techniques now. Like maybe they went through the basics with you on the 8 sessions, and then all of a sudden you have another session package of 3 to 5 sessions, something like that. So that's one option, okay? And they won't know that exists unless it comes out of your mouth and you talk to them about it. Also, you could send them into a maintenance phase saying, okay, so congratulations, you made it through the 8 sessions. Here's what what I've noticed you've transformed and accomplished throughout this process together. And you are officially moving into the maintenance phase. And they're going to be like, what's the maintenance phase? Right? And the maintenance phase could be like, hey, you know what? Life happens and things are going to come up for you. So now that you've been through that, now you have access to me for one-on-one sessions as needed. So if you just need a session here and there that something comes up for you, just so you know that's available to you. Okay. I don't do the one-on-one sessions with people until they've gone through a journey with me first. And then they feel special because it's like, oh, I've graduated in a sense. So if you're not doing a maintenance phase kind of concept, please integrate that. And all that is once they finish a package with whatever you have already going on, just decide really quickly what that looks like. And you could just implement that immediately. So with that, we are very passionate about you making life-changing money in a way that actually feels good. I've already mentioned this, but what you're doing is so important and you deserve to make a lot of money doing it because you're helping people. And a lot of us will have little mindset, money, story issues going on where it's like, I just want to give my stuff away for free, or I'm going to discount this and all this kind of stuff. You deserve to make a really good amount of money supporting your clients. And I just want you to just kind of check your money mindset and make sure that you're not self-sabotaging yourself and your own business success because you are worthy. And it's just a beautiful thing when you can make a lot of money and your clients are so happy. It's just a beautiful symbiotic relationship like that. So there's so much power, obviously, I hope you can see that, in having a well-oiled machine in place. So we don't need all of this manual tasks happening and stressing us out. It just leads to burnout and it's horrible. And we don't need to be dealing with that. And that's what I'm talking about here. But when you implement the 5 systems, that you will have a business that you're so, first of all, deeply proud of because you're going to be like, I'm an entrepreneur and I have this down, right? There's pride in that. And that's a beautiful thing. But it's also not pushing you to burnout. Jess and I have been through it where we did go boots on the ground and just everything was manual and all that kind of stuff. And it was affecting our mental health, our physical health, our relationships. And I used to be a severe workaholic. I am just never again going down that path. It caused all this adrenal problems for me. And I'm like, that is not worth my life. Thank you so much. So just systematizing your business, I just cannot say it enough how powerful and beautiful that's going to feel to you. So all that to say, what we did was we took what we created for our private clients, because that's what we've been doing for years now, is supporting all of our private one-on-one clients to get their systems dialed in. And now we have made that accessible to you. That's exactly what I'm teaching today. So you can implement that in the most effortless way. So with that, we do share this machine with coaches all over the world, which is exactly where you're at. Oh, I know that AttractWell has coaches all over the world. Greg says the planet. I love that. And I'm just going to take just a few minutes real quickly, and this is going to be real quick, is to just share an easy way to get all of this set up if that feels right to you. So what we did was we created a program called the Effortless Coach, and that is the 5 systems. We call them phases, but they are systems. And you don't even need to read these because that's exactly what we just went through. But you get all of our ready-made systems, all of them, and you get to plug and play them right into your AttractWell system with the click of a button. It is as simple as that. It's literally click a button, everything gets put in. But then it's like, what do you put in that, right? Then we help you seamlessly insert your own content. And it's not just any content. We guide you into crafting that message so precisely dialed in. So that whole system one where you're like, okay, what do I even need to put in here? You know, like what do I even plug in? What do I say at the headline of a sales page? And what am I writing in the emails? That's what we help you to do. We help you on a very detailed, granular level. And so that obviously is meant to attract your ideal client to you. And it's going to feel strangely simple. All of a sudden, you're just going to be like, I feel like I just turned the faucet on in my business and people are just saying yes. And you're just going to feel good. And it's not just any people saying yes, it is the people you like to work with, not the energy vampires that suck the life out of us. Okay. So in 2 months or less, you'll have all 5 systems up and running. And a lot of people do it in less than 4 weeks because we have it so streamlined and dialed in. Everything you need to know to create your entire 5 systems is laid out in quick, easy to watch videos. And I'm just going to tell you, I've been part of a lot of different courses out there that have like hour-long videos, and there's tons of them. Like we can teach you an entire concept in a 5-minute video. And instead of going all granular with you, we're like, copy this, click that, paste that there. Okay, check, done. Next, move on. And that's kind of how we are. We do give you at least obviously the background. We're not that cut and dry, but we give you the psychology of what's going on behind everything, but we are so quick. So we cut the fluff. We're not long-winded at all. And, because we want to respect your time. That's really what it comes down to. The other piece of that is we don't bombard you with extra trainings. I can't tell you how many programs I've been a part of where there's the videos I watch and I'm going through and I'm feeling good about those. But then every week there's 1 or 2 live calls going on too. And it's new content. It's not just dialing in what they already have. It's new content. And then I'm like, I'm starting to feel behind here. Like this is so much. Where do I even go? And it's kind of squirrel syndrome where it's like, oh, shiny object, shiny object. That's not what we do. We just put every single thing you need to know in the program in a very, very streamlined way. And then we've obviously simplified everything. So even the least tech savvy person, if you hate tech, don't worry. Like the whole system is already teched up for you. We've connected. We've done all the AttractWell automations. This email sequence connects to this page already. Like all of this stuff is already done for you. So very quickly, a general gist of what we already have ready made for you. So system 1, phase 1 with your messaging system. We do go way beyond the benefit of the benefit exercise that we went over with you today, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. But that is still, just so you know, that is a really good exercise for you to do, okay? But we go way deeper. And then once we establish your messaging, we're going to guide you exactly how to apply it to all of your areas of marketing, your sales funnel, all the good stuff. This is exactly what we did with Coach 1. And eventually we did help Coach 2. She's making a lot of money now. But Coach 2, this is how we dialed in her systems to get her making $146,000 a year plus. Now she's doubled that. So then the streamline coaching framework, this is just one real quick slide here. This is where you stand out in the sea of coaches. It's like, what can make you different? And then how can you say it in a way that your ideal clients are like, oh, I've never heard a life coach doing that, or I've never heard of a health coach doing that, whatever it is, okay? And your phase 3 here is your simple client acquisition system. This is big. You get to walk away with our entire ready-made sales funnel. The entire thing is in there. You just plug it in, and then obviously we're going to help you with your content. But there is a psychology to moving people to action through your sales funnel. And we've built the conversion strategy already right in there for you. So you don't even have to really think about that. We're going to walk you step by step exactly how to do that. We do pull this from your messaging that we help you create in system 1. And then I'm not going to read all this to you, but once you get all of your messaging dialed in, and then we move to phase 3 and start getting your funnel set up, all of that gets plugged in with the click of all of this. This is all going into your system with the click of a button. It's your opt-in pages, sales pages, checkout pages, email sequences, onboarding steps, the nurturing sequences, offboarding, your automated testimonial and referral requests. And there's, if you can't tell, I hope you can get this from me. We do everything in a very heartfelt way. Nothing sounds salesy, nothing sounds scripted. It just feels really good, okay? Even your visual branding we help with. Then we help you to get the most amazing content plugged in all along the way. So we give you feedback every step of the way. If you're like creating something visual, we give you exact feedback about it and all that good stuff. Also, we support you personally to get all of it dialed in so it converts at the highest level, because we do not want you to build a whole sales funnel and have it not convert. That is the pits. I've been there and it stinks. So phase 4, real quickly, we've taken so many different coaching programs and work with a lot of high-end coaches ourselves. And I'm going to say this very boldly. All of them fell short on this system. They were teaching us what worked for them, but they didn't know how to help us find the right marketing path for our business, our unique businesses and our personalities. And so a lot of times coaches are just kind of giving like, hey, this works. And it's like, oh, that feels yucky to me because it's just not my personality, or it's not going to land for your audience because what worked for their audience doesn't necessarily work for your audience. So we help our whole marketing system. We actually like dip into your brain and your personality and what your offer is. And then we're like, this is the path for you. Okay. And then obviously you have a big say in that. Obviously you get to choose that. But we do show you 4 of the most streamlined marketing paths. I know I mentioned about social media, and sometimes people don't want to use social media, but they feel obligated to. So we do have 4 different paths here, and you get to choose the ones that align perfectly for you and your personality and your business style. Okay. And then not everybody, like I've already mentioned this, not everybody likes social media. However, if you do like social media, we have a 6-step process that helps you get an entire month or 2 completely dialed in 1 day a month. It just takes literally 1 day a month. You sit there and you have 1 to 2 months of marketing just running on autopilot, and goodness, that feels good. And then if you do use artificial intelligence, not everybody does, but if you do, we spent 6 months getting an AI prompt set up and so dialed in. So when you actually use this AI prompt from our marketing, that marketing path, it's going to sound like you. We just the other day actually had a talk with one of our clients in the effortless coaching program, and she like almost had tears in her eyes. She's like, I cannot believe how easy marketing is now, because she's like, that's exactly how I would say it. And she got all teary eyed about it. And it just felt so good because we have this so dialed in. That's exactly what we're talking about. And if you, sorry about this, I always say this, you can use AI or look at AI as your most valuable unpaid team member. And then what I was going to say is if you don't use artificial intelligence, don't worry at all. We've got you covered. Not everybody likes it, and that's okay. Okay. So we teach you other ways. And then the very last thing here is phase 5. We have built your automated onboarding, nurturing and offboarding process right into your selling system. This is the machine that brings in more clients on autopilot. If you don't have this, I'm telling you, you are sitting on a pile of gold right now that's not converting. If we get this system, when we get this system set up, you're just going to have all this word of mouth referrals happening. And it's like, you don't have to put as much time into your marketing efforts then, right? That is part of your marketing machine. So if you think about auto referrals coming in, that's more money in your pocket. And if you think about auto testimonials coming in, that's your credibility, right? And then also last bit here on this part is that we'll also share our tried and true relationship selling script that helps to turn people into clients basically. So like if you are doing discovery calls, not everybody does discovery calls, but if you do discovery calls or are having any sort of client prospect calls like that, it feels good. We have an exact script for you. I have been part of so many sales schools out there, and I cannot stand most of them because they use those sleazy tactics and do the push away technique. Like, well, maybe this isn't right for you, and it's like they expect people to be like, no, I want it. And I cannot stand that stuff. We just don't do any sleazy tactics. And so the clients that we have in the Effortless Coach, this sometimes is one of their favorite things in the entire thing because they feel a little awkward on discovery calls. And we have an exact script, exactly what questions to ask, how to transition over to talking about money and all that kind of stuff. And it just doesn't have to feel weird and strange. Sales should not sound like sales. Sales should sound like you are serving somebody. And that's exactly the heart we lead with in this. Okay. So your current clients get nurtured automatically. That's the nurturing piece, saving you countless hours of communication each month. So just 2 real quick testimonials here. Lindsay said, Tip, I've never had $30,000 on the books this soon. I mean, my biggest quarter was 48,000. And I just said, yes, my friend. Not only is it possible, it doesn't even need to be that difficult when you approach it right. You deserve this. And she is doing so well. And then Kate here, she's from Australia. She said, oh my goodness, I need to say a huge thank you to Tiffany and Jessica for their effortless coaching program. I accepted 6 new high-end clients on day 1. This is accelerated 2023 with a massive bang. Thank you, ladies. My life will never be the same. And I'm just going to say, Kate's clients adore her because she has so much mental space. She has all the systems set up. There's so much mental space to be able to just really lean in and support her clients on a deeper level. So it's just a beautiful thing. And then I'm going to say these really quickly. Bonus one, we do have 4 mini courses. The longest one is an hour. Some of these are literally 10 minutes to 20 minutes. And this peak productivity, this is where we give you the exact time blocking map. So you know exactly what to plug into your week and what to be working on each day. And so all the 5 systems work and you don't let anything slip through the cracks. Profit Playbook is if you need some quick cash. So let's say you're going through this program, the Effortless Coach, and then you just need some quick cash. We show you a few techniques in here really quickly that you can just go grab some clients, pull them into you, love on them as you're doing all this other creation and still be paying the bills. Okay, so and it's a really nice and it feels really good for the clients as well. Speaking mastery is something I lightly alluded to, but I've been speaking for 25 years. This is one of my specialties, but just helping you to overcome the nerves, all that good stuff. But most speakers go and deliver just educational content, but they have no conversion strategy around their speaking. And so they go deliver the education, they're great speakers, but then they walk away with no sales all the time. So I just teach you the most gentle way to be able to set up your talk to actually turn into dollars. And then I also teach you even the technical side of like, how do I send somebody to my offer from stage, that kind of stuff. And that's also virtual speaking. And then the very last bonus here is the email mastery. This is where we teach you all the things about email, so your emails actually convert. Subject line conversion rates, over designed emails actually don't convert. And a lot of times they auto opt people out of your email system. And that's no good, right? So we just want to understand those details. And then you get 5 months with us where we support you. And I'm talking, we support you. You just ask us any question and we're going to give you detailed feedback on anything you're creating. And this is where you join the live calls and all that good stuff. And then this is my lovely business partner, Jess. She's also my absolute best friend in the world. We just connected on such a deep level, but she's one of the most brilliant people I have ever met in my entire life. And I was just very honored to partner with her in this. And like I said, both of us are very good at all 5 systems, but I specialize in some, she specializes in others. And that's why we decided to partner up to just make sure that you are taken care of. So with all that, this is our full program here. So the Effortless Coach, all of the bonus courses, the direct access to us, we do all of that for $22.97. And if you just have a little tight budget at the moment, you can break that down into 6 payments of $427. And we are absolutely here for you every single step of the way. We normally do sell this for $5,000, but because you're with AttractWell, we wanted to honor you, and you spent an hour with us here. So we wanted to say thank you for that. And then I'm going to actually, Greg was going to post this. Greg, did you get a chance to post that in the comments quite yet? So Greg already commented with the link right there. And I'm going to stop sharing and just show you what that is here. So that would take you to manifestpossibility.com/AW. And all you need to do is click on enroll now. You can scroll through the whole page, but this is exactly what I just went over with you. And then you can just scroll down here and click on whatever payment option you want. And that's going to just take you right in there. And then that gives you immediate access to everything. And we are going to start taking care of you immediately. We are quick movers, and we want you to be able to get all 5 of these systems up and running within 5 months, or sorry, not 5 months, within 2 months or less. And it happens very, very quickly. So that is everything. Thank you for listening. And I wanted to open it up for Q&A, any questions we have. And I'm going to open up the chat as well, just in case there's something there. But wonderful. And then, okay, any questions here? So would this work for a podcaster? Let me check in with myself. I'm a very straight shooter, so I just want to check in. The only thing, so yes, this would definitely work for a podcaster. The only thing is that like when you're looking at the coaching package, what we would do is support you to just shift that a little bit, since you're not necessarily going to have a coaching framework. But Jess has done podcasts. I used to do a video podcast that was very popular, so we're very familiar. So we work with a lot of coaches out there with different, like all the different types of coaches, but also slightly different business styles we still work with depending. And so a podcaster, can I ask, is it Blaga? Can I ask what kind of podcast you're doing? Oh, you're meal planning mama. Yeah, we can help you. I know we can help you with that. But you know what, Blaga, if you would want to hop on a private Zoom call with me afterwards, I'd be more than honored to do that. And I'm going to give you our email in just a second. But if you want to hop on a private call, let me just ask you some more questions just to absolutely solidify that, if that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm steering you correctly. And then let's see, Randy here. Could you please say more about or clarify how the elements of this system are integrated into and set up in AttractWell? Yes. So we have it set up. There's something called resource bundles in AttractWell. One of my favorite things within AttractWell are the resource bundles. So we have already set up a resource bundle. And what happens is you get to we have a button within our program. Once you get in there, there's a button in our program, and you literally open it up and you say, add this to my AttractWell. And you just say, you basically claim the resource bundle. And all of a sudden it just, all those pages, all those emails, even like the we're not the right fit email. Like if somebody wants to hop on your schedule and you read their preset questions, like the questionnaire, and you're like, this is not my specialty, or this is not the type of person I want to work with. We already have like a we're not the right fit email so gently laid out for you. That gets plugged right in. So Randy, I hope that makes sense. Okay. And Blaga, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. And then Randy, are you available for a brief one-on-one discussion? Yes, of course I am. So what you can do is just email us. Actually, let me just share that really quickly. Anybody looking for one-on-one support, this is see, this is the power of us having our systems in place, is that we get to spend time on one-on-one calls with you. So this is the email you would email. It's VIP@manifestpossibility.com, VIP@manifestpossibility.com. And we will definitely get back to you. I'll get back to you by today, nice and simply. Okay. So anybody who wants some of that, I'll just shoot you my calendar link and we'll just hop on a call. Okay. Just want to make sure you're being taken care of. All right. And then TL, thank you for this. How does one define a high-end client or something similarly worded? So instead of like high-end client, for example, is your ideal client who's willing to buy kind of your bigger package kind of thing. So if like you can do, a lot of coaches just work one-on-one with people, one session at a time. And this is where we start to like, okay, what are all the ways I can help this one-on-one client besides just, my time spent one-on-one. So if you're spending an hour with them, maybe there's something else that you can offer them that doesn't take any extra of your time, that makes it feel like your coaching package feel even more robust and lovely to them. And when you do that, then they'll be willing to pay a little bit more for your program. Does that make sense? Greg, I just want to be respectful of time. I know we're 2 minutes over. Are we still okay for a couple more minutes?
We're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What's the minimum pricing you recommend for the same? You know what, TL, can we hop on a call? Because I just want to make sure I have several questions I'll ask you to get your pricing dialed in. And it would be really hard for me to throw pricing out there. And we are very good at helping you price your offers, by the way. There's a science to that, our process for that. But okay, perfect. Gotcha, TL. So TL, will you email the VIP@manifestpossibility.com and we'll hop on a call? That'd be awesome. Okay, perfect. And then good. Okay, Greg popped that email right in the chat too if you need that. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, maps, I love that. Good. I already love Jess. She's my favorite person. I just love her so much. I'm enjoying this so much. Something that is a total turnoff for me is constant emails, daily, sometimes more. I almost always unsubscribe. Your take on this, Sue? I cannot stand daily emails either. It's just too much. And so we have a whole process for that. So what you'll see is when we actually plug those emails into your system, you're going to see, and I hope you pick up on my energy with this. We're not like in your face kind of people. You don't need to be that way. And also the emails, so many emails out there are so salesy sounding that we get from coaches. Like you could write an email and have it just be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. You crossed my mind today. Something like that. Like you can like literally do emails that are just like you're talking to a friend and those convert higher. You don't need to be like, oh, my long story and taking people all over the place. Those feel yucky and they're not real and people know that they're spammy. So we will definitely not be spamming people, Sue. I hope that answered your question there. So perfect. And then let's see. Thanks so much, Ashley. This looks excellent. I'm not sure I'm in a position for it right now, but saving the link for future. Perfect. That's wonderful. We're here for you always. We're not going to be shutting down anytime soon. I promise you that. So we'll be there. And then Ashley, I'm just going to throw this out there to you. Not hopping on a call to sell you on anything. If I can just hop on a call and support you in any way, that's the heart of our business. So if you wanted to hop on a private call and just tell me where you're at and I can just give you a couple tips until you can move forward with the program, I'd be more than happy to do that. So just so you kind of understand where our hearts are with that. I'm new to AttractWell and loving it by comparison to other platforms. Ashley, I'm telling you, you're in the right spot with AttractWell. I know Greg's on the phone and it's probably seeming like he paid me to say that, but I am not. I didn't even know Greg. I moved all of my businesses over and I started moving all of my clients. I transitioned from their website over to AttractWell. And after a while, Greg was like, hey, I'm liking some of your designs. And we just started to develop a friendship that way. Good. Ashley, you're very, very welcome. You hop on. I'm sending an email already. Perfect. Love that. I'll go right after this call and go open that up. So amazing. Okay. I think, let's see. Okay, I got the link out there. Anita, I'm an AI assistant helping Anita Latour take notes for this meeting. Follow along the transcript here. You'll also be able to see screenshots. Okay, perfect. Good. Okay. I think that feels okay. Yep. And then I got all the way up to where people were saying where they're from. So this is wonderful. So I feel very complete. I hope everybody does. And I really want you to understand and walk away with this, that you can have a business that you love. You do not need to be looking at your coaching business and feeling stressed about it. And you can have the right clients in your world. And it's just like, you can really wake up every morning and be like, I really like what I do. I don't feel stressed and allow you to have the exact, like what you need to be working on. it's so nice to just have a plan and a strategy that way. So that is everything from me. Thank you everybody for listening. And Greg, thank you so much for having me. I just really value and appreciate you. You're also one of my favorite, you and Amanda are some of my favorite people in this world. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Tiffany. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for all of you who stuck around till the very end here. We appreciate you, and yeah, hope you have a great rest of your day. Any other questions, certainly reach out to us and we'll be happy to help. We'll see you
That
later.
sounds good. Bye.